Hello friends, this is Mrs. Dennis, and today I'm going to introduce the read aloud for The Wind in the Willows, Chapter 7. So as always, when I introduce the read aloud, we're going to start with the vocabulary. So our first word is blues, and blues is a state of depression or unhappiness. So if someone says, man, I have the blues, then that means they're sad about something. So anytime you're sad about something, you can say you have the blues. Capital. Capital is another word for excellent. So if a play is excellent, you can say that play was capital, or meaning excellent. It was really good. Or the show was capital. Dismally. Dismally means gloomily or hopelessly. So if you can see our picture of our friend here, he looks like kind of hopeless in the rain and the snow and just not moving or doing anything. So dismally is hopeless or gloomily. Forage. Forage means to seek, search, or look around. Now, when you listen to our story, you're going to listen for the word forage and our other vocabulary words. And forage, what they're going to be doing is searching for something. Oh, now I want you to figure out, what are they searching for, right? Now, in this picture, the bird is searching or seeking out food. So the bird is foraging for food. So forage means to seek, search, or look around. So if you perceive something, you notice something through the senses to interpret something in a different way. So let's look at our picture. We see a little kitten looking in the mirror. But when that cat looks in the mirror, they're looking at a lion. Looking at a lion. So they're not perceiving themselves as a little cat. They're perceiving themselves as a big lion, right? So they are interpreting something in a different way. Or they're noticing something through their senses, right? Their 5 senses, which in this case is going to be sight, for one. Slumber. Slumber means to sleep. That's it. Have you heard of slumber party? Right? A slumber party is a sleepover. So slumber, sleep means the same thing. Slumber means to sleep. So our word work for today is forage. And like we said before, forage means to look around and search for something. So Rat said to Mole, come with me and forage. But what were they talking about? Again, when you listen to the story, I want you to think about, what were they trying to find? What were they searching for? Okay? I want you to remember the word forage, and I want you to listen to it. Listen for that word when you listen to the story, and I want you to think about, what were they searching for? We're still thinking about theme. So remember, I said we are going to constantly talk about theme. Every single day we're going to talk about theme, right? So we know that theme is the message or the moral or what the author wants you to learn, right? So these are some of the themes that we've already talked about, and then I have some examples of what they are. Okay, so I'm going to move this over just a bit, make sure you can see everything. So theme 1, friendship. Well, how does friendship show up in our story? One example, right? This is just one example. Mole offering to pack up the picnic lunch while Rat rests. Okay, that's just one example of friendship. That's something that a friend would do. Loyalty. Remember, this is just one example. Rat agreeing to travel with Toad because he worries about Toad traveling on his own. That's being loyal, right? That's Rat being loyal to Toad. Loyalty. Responsibility. Remember, this is just one example. Rat and Mole taking care of the wrecked caravan, the house, and Toad after the car incident. Okay? That's just one example. Irresponsibility. Toad not helping on the trip and not caring about the wreck. Now, that was Toad being irresponsible. right? But that's just one. These are all just one examples. Now, I know you see hospitality on here, right? And I don't have anything for hospitality yet. That's because we're going to come back to it. Remember, because we're not finished talking about theme. We're going to talk about it tomorrow. We're going to talk about it the next day. We're going to talk about it the next day. We're going to continue to talk about theme. We're going to continue to fill up this theme chart. And then when we're done with everything, then you're going to fill up a theme chart for me. All right, let's move on. So I want you to, this is just kind of a review of the literary tools that we talked about. We talked about perspective, which is how someone sees or experiences something. And remember, perspective can shift from one character to another. And it's a way of telling more about the story. So remember, most of this story is being told from Mo's perspective. But there's a small portion of it that's being told from Rat's perspective. And then another small portion of the story that's being told from Toad's perspective. So remember, even though the story is being told from one person's perspective, it can still switch and be told from someone else's within the same story. So let's just think about perspective in our own personal lives for a quick second, right? Remember, every single one of us can go and look outside a window. But guess what? Our perspective of outside is going to be different. We're still looking outside. Everybody's looking outside. But what you see or your perspective is going to be different. What you experience when you look outside is going to be different. Dialogue is actual talking of characters. So that means when Mo talks, when Rat talks, that's just the dialogue. And the narration is who tells the story, right? So who is actually telling the story and not the characters talking. That's dialogue. I'm sorry, that's narration. So what do I want you to remember? Themes. Okay? That's going to be important. So today when you listen to the chapter, this is part 2 of Dolce Domo, right? Which we read part 1 yesterday. Remember, Dolce Domo means home, sweet home, right? I want you to think about the plot so far, right? What's going on with, I want you to think about the plot so far. So what's happened in the story? And we reviewed that too. So you can go back to that video with the plot. Remember at the end of the previous read aloud, Mole is following his nose down a tunnel. So what do you think, once he follows his nose down that tunnel, what do you think is going to happen? Okay, think about that. I want you to start to, again, themes. I want you to see if you can pick out a theme in this chapter. A theme of hospitality. Right? Because I'm going to ask you, like, I want you to see if you can pick out a theme of hospitality. And don't worry, there are other themes, but I think we're going to focus on hospitality for this chapter. And that's it, friends. So remember, theme of hospitality. Who's showing hospitality in this chapter, chapter 7? How do they show hospitality? Not only who's showing hospitality, but how are they showing hospitality? All right? That's all for now, friends.